I will listen to the Dragon God's proposition. Lot Vulan has his allies. Perhaps it is time that I find my own. If you seek weakness, prepare for disappointment. I have none. While my brothers were slain away, I have been free. I know when to fight, when to fly, when to look for allies. And so, I stand before you, Grant, unbroken. This is not the first time Lot Vulan annoyed me and the innocence of Tamriel. In the past, another dragon god came to me. I gifted them one of my magnificent horns, which your companion holds in his hands. That is the name it came to be known by. You said that Valokson stole my horn. No doubt he wished to protect my kind from its power. Even as he hid it away, the Dragon God hunted us to near extinction. Nanvolme, what an honorable fool. No, I lost a horn, but it led to the defeat of my foe. The Dragon God locked away Lot Vulan, though their seals did not last. Now, my brother seeks revenge that can only be sated by my death. O Blanvo Sos, it will end in blood. The Dragon God called him the Black Beast, he of the fearsome nature and ravenous appetite. We have been in conflict for so long that I barely remember its catalyst. It has been an unending hatred that spans the ages. I gave up a horn in the exchange. The Dragon God were unable to slay Lot Vulan, but they did lock him away. They thought his prison would hold forever. They were wrong. I do not know. The magic may have faded, or perhaps someone set him free. No matter the cause, my goal remains true. Lot Vulan must be stopped once more, and this time, I shall burn his corpse to cinders and shred his soul.
This one is cleaning. You may help clean, or you may stop bothering this one. Whatever needs doing. Cleaning, mopping, stabbing. Sometimes this one stabs and then cleans up afterward. Also, Chisbari is well known for her cheery disposition. Hooray! See? Chisbari is so cheery.
Guess the captain got the pounce back. He always does. Not the first time he's lost it, you know. Practically everything. If it weren't for old Dirge, the whole ship would sink under the weight of the grime and barnacles. Not that any of these louts would notice. Enough jawing. I've got to see what condition the pounce has come back in.
I'm glad that Senchal is safe, but making an alliance with a dragon? I'm not so sure about that.
Jal, you are the one who got us back the perfect...
Zaji knew his gut was right. Only a truly great warrior could tame a dragon. Do you suppose the creature will let us ride it? Hmm? No. Best not to ask. This one would not want to be rude. Really? Of course you do. Who wouldn't want the daring Zaji by their side? The offer is tempting. Whoever defeats these dragons will have their names sung by moon singers for generations. Zaji is not one to hesitate, Walker. Not when a stranger asks him to sail to a dragon's island, and certainly not when that same stranger offers glory and fame. The crew of the Perfect Pounce will join your Dragon Guard. Yes. Zaji will speak to the crew. However, there are 2 crew members you may wish to speak with personally. Dirge Traptor, the Imperial with a weasel face, and the beautiful Chisbari. Their particular talents may prove interesting. The Dragon Guard! Who's a good-for-nothing lout now, mother? But you must be busy with the dragon, no? Zaji will speak to the crew on your behalf if you do not have the time to spare. Leave it to Zaji. Dirge Traptor has more book smarts than the rest of my crew combined. Now that's not saying much, since most of my crew can't read. The Dragon Guard wrote many things, yes? Perhaps he can help you read them. Well, Dirge has an awful lot of contacts. He always helps us figure out who we can trust and how to avoid those who mean us harm. Maybe he can help keep track of our enemies in some fashion. Chisbari the Chipper, as she is known. You'll see why as soon as you hear her lovely voice. Aside from Casca, there's no one more dependable aboard the Pounce. Give her a task, and she'll get it done, yes? Zaji has not a single doubt, not a one. We may be just smugglers to you and the Bearded One, but our hearts sing for adventure. They will all take up the call, this one is sure. Life on the seas is not easy, Walker. You must be able to adapt at a moment's notice if you wish to survive its many dangers. Storms, attacking ships, sea serpents. The Pounce's crew will learn to navigate the dangers of dragons just as readily. Of course. Zaji is their captain, after all. This one is...
I can't believe we're in a Dragon Guard sanctuary. My father would tell me stories about the Order when I was little. Protectors of the Emperor, slayers of dragons, daring adventures. It was all quite exciting. You want me to join your order? I mean, that isn't to say I don't want to. Of course I do. I want to protect my home before the dragons destroy it. I didn't expect you to ask me to stay. We only face the darkness of fear so that we may find the light of courage. That's something my mother always told me. An old Red Guard proverb, she said. I'll join your Dragon Guard and protect my home. You have my word. I have to admit, our Dragon Guard does seem a little motley at the moment. Perhaps uniforms would help? I spent my childhood in Cyrodiil. My father was a commander under Emperor Leovic, and my mother was a Red Guard ambassador. Her name was Sadala. I had a tough time fitting in with my peers. They were always questioning who I was. Was I Imperial? Was I a Red Guard? They wanted to put me in a neat little box, but I didn't quite fit. Anyway, my father joined the Colovian Revolt and was given the rank of General by Emperor Varen. Father received orders to come to Central and help with the restoration. He didn't plan to take me along as I was only 13 at the time. Then my mother died, and everything changed. Exactly, and a new city helped take my mind off of other things. I felt so welcomed in Senchal. The Khajiit never questioned who I was or where I came from. To them, I was simply Aelia. That was all that mattered.
Our mysterious crew has departed. Those left alive to depart, that is. They were dragon cultists, yes? It would certainly explain their choice of garb. This Latvalan must have an affinity for black. Very well. I will join your order. Why would I hesitate? These dragons killed many of my people, and I cannot fight them alone. So I will help you hunt down the beasts. A simple decision, yes? The Dragon Guard were a very strict order, yes? I doubt our crew would do well with too many rules. Perhaps some changes will need to be made. I have faced many enemies. Nothing was too big or too powerful for me to challenge. I didn't always win, but I could always fight. When the dragons came, this was no longer true. I would rather die on the sands of Palatine than hide away on foreign soil. This is a chance to make my stand. I will take it. Besides, if I thought your cause was impossible, I would have said no.
Yeah, reading. Trying to read. What letter does that look like? Oh. Thought it might have been some sort of code. Well, guess I'm free now. What do you want? Captain says a lot of things. Like more riches than we can count, and easy as a spring breeze. Now here we are, hunting dragons like they're some kind of sky whales. Well, you are anyway. I got books to research. Who'd have thought reading could be so handy? Anything, Dragon Guard. Books on killing dragons without getting eaten, I hope. When I scare up some leads, I could use your help retrieving them. I hear anything about those new moon fanatics while I'm at it, I'll let you know.
What do you want? Not surprising. I am the only one who can keep a ledger around here. You hunt dragons. I figure out where the dragons are. And what to do with any parts you bring back, yes? It's the most obvious way to help.
Nathalar and I have come to an agreement. We'll work together to defeat Lotfulan, but only that. After our battle is won, Nathalar will peacefully depart from these lands. Now, what did Zaji say to my proposal? Excellent. I'll meet with him and his crew to discuss the particulars. For aiding me in the establishment of our new Dragon Guard, accept this reward. Oh, and talk to Nathalar when you have a moment. He requested your help with a small matter.
You are wise to ally yourselves with me. Lotfulan will not stop until Tamriel is destroyed. He has raised an army and forced my brothers to join his crusade. Those who refuse, die. He must be stopped, for the good of my kind, as well as for yours. A dragon's words have power few mortals understand. When we swear an oath, we are bound by it. That is our way. The dragon Yagrandu vowed to aid me in a time of need. We must seek him out and remind him of his oath. I do, but I do not know where he hides. I leave that task to you, as the Dragon God of old were known to be accomplished trackers. Seek the aid of a companion who knows this land well, and let them guide you. Now go, hunter. Find Yagrandu. Finding Yagrandu requires a test of skill rather than mere bravery. I am curious to see how you and your companions fare. Yagrandu ran afoul of a powerful dragon hunter in a time before the Dragon God. I found him, injured and cornered, and offered my aid. For a price. Knowing that his life was forfeit, he begrudgingly agreed. My kind call it a soul smear, a blood allegiance. It is an unbreakable bond, stronger than any vow uttered by a mortal. Yagrandu is bound to pay his debt by a magic older than any you know. If you find him, he will join our cause.
We're part of the Dragon Guard, Aelia. It's not stealing.
I think we should ask before putting them on.
But it looks so good on you. Look what we found, Walker. Zaji has to say, the Dragon Guard certainly has style, though this one did decide to make a few alterations. Now, what's our next move? What does our dragon friend have up his scaly sleeve? A missing dragon, huh? Then you'll want to head to Kenarthi's Breath Temple. The priests there can find all sorts of things, if your cause is just. I'm certain they wouldn't mind helping the noble Dragon Guard defeat a great evil. South of Black Heights, Zaji's childhood village. Just follow the ringing of the bells, yes? You can't miss it. Zaji will meet you there? Yes, of course. This one is your resident expert, after all. He just did not realize that his first Dragon God mission would take him back to Black Heights. He hasn't visited since... well, he has never visited. Kenarthi is the goddess of the winds. She guides the Khajiit, ensuring our ships reach safe harbor and our souls find the sands behind the stars. With Kenarthi's power, the priests can guide us to what we seek. Something to do with the bells, Zaji thinks. He has never seen the ritual, of course. It is only performed in times of dire need, such as when a group of brave Dragon Guard must find a dragon, yes? The only thing remarkable about Black Heights is just how unremarkable it is. Nothing ever happens there. The villagers paint the wall of life. The priests pray to Kenarthi for guidance. It's all very, very dull. A big mural. The villagers each add to it before they die, preserving their stories for generations to come. Zaji remembers staring at it when he was a Jakajit. The stories of this one's ancestors made Zaji think... That's it. Merchants, weavers, fishers, and farmers, there were now stories of heroes, no glorious tales of adventure. All Zaji saw in that mural was a life too dull to contemplate. And so, this one ran away and never looked back. Kenarthi is the goddess of the wind. It's settled. To Black Heights.
And I'm coming with you.
What? You don't trust Zaji to handle this?
Not in the slightest. You're traveling with Zaji? Then I'm going too. I wouldn't want him to get into any trouble now that he's an official member of the Dragon Guard.
Another ship went down. Got too close to that island off the southern coast. Mark this one's words. That island just is not right. A dark fate pursues this one.
For his throne! Passons!
Please, over here. Thank the Hist someone arrived. You're not with the crazed cult out there, are you? No. If you were, you would have summoned the others by now. Please help me. I've been trapped here for hours with no chance of escape. My friends and I became separated at the quarry. We sought the strange Aeon Stone that we heard about. Figured we'd take a little. Bring it back to my father's jewelry shop in Merkmire. That's when the cultists decided to run us off. We ran in different directions once the cultists started chasing us. I lost sight of them while fleeing for my life. I ducked under here and have been hiding ever since. Could you look for my friends? My friends must be hiding around the quarry. Find them and let them know I'll be waiting at the rendezvous spot. They're Argonians like me. You can't miss them. Look for Mitza, Falls with Grace, and Nasi. And please, watch out for those cultists. Rumors spread like wildfire through the streets of Senchal, especially if it involves anything valuable. Most of what we heard indicated that the locals avoided the stuff, though. Said it was cursed, or tainted, or something like that. Curses? No. If someone had mentioned the cultists, though, that's a different matter. Look, I just want to see my friends again. Then we'll leave Elsweyr and return to my father's shop in Murkmire.
Please. I didn't take any of the green stones. And if I did, I'll make sure to put them back. Just, please, don't hurt me. Oh, thank you. I saw what happened to Paul Falls, and I got so frightened. I'll go find Nomu right now.
I cannot run anymore. There's too many of them, and my friends are gone. I surrender. Go ahead, cultist. Do what you may. Truly? That is good news. I think I have enough strength to make it to that location. Thank you, stranger. Just remind me never to listen to Nomu's stupid ideas again.
Mitsa told me what happened to poor Falls, but thanks so much for finding the others. I just wish I had something to give her family back home in Murkmire. That's Falls, all right. She loved this ring. I'll make sure her family gets it when we're back home in Murkmire. Anyway, thank you. Why don't you take this, for your efforts? I just wish it could be more.
I almost had one of those strange green stones in my hand. I could almost feel it. Ah, well, maybe next.
My friend, dead. That could have been me, you know. Well, at least I got a small chunk of that green stone. Just don't tell the others. I plan to make something special when we get back to the jewelry shop. In Fall's memory, you understand?
Hey, over here. Could you... Hey, look who it is. Long time no see, pal. I'd love to catch up and swap war stories, but these damned ropes really... knock the wind out of the reunion, you know? You want to give me a hand? A dragon punted that wagon like a vosh ball, with me inside. There were 2 others in there with me. I think the kidnappers dragged them out. Tough to remember. I banged my head pretty good. My skull's thick, but it ain't that thick, you know? Yeah, real charmers. They planned to put us in some kind of exhibition. The kind you don't walk away from, I wager. I'm not gonna miss that cart, but the other prisoners, Tajahir and Mareki, are good folk. I mean to rescue them. Wanna help? Just get these ropes off. Can't feel my hands. That's better. Now, where did those tuskless runts stow my armor? Ah, here it is. Now, let's have a look around. Need to find out where those bastards ran off to. Huh? Oh, sorry, pal. Still a little wagon fire swept the kidnappers' tracks pretty good. Frustrating. How about you? You find anything useful? Good. Let me take a look. So this Lady G's in charge, eh? Yeah, that makes sense. First lesson they teach you in bad guy school. Only use the first letter of your name if you're up to no good. Safe bet. Don't have much to go on, though. The note mentions some blockhead named Sellaway. Maybe if we show her that token, she'll talk. It's gotta be a ticket or something, right? I say we head to Senshal's waterfront and track her down. I need to walk off this headache. If you find Sellaway before I do, meet me at Senshal's marketplace, alright?
Stay back, stranger. The shrines are shuttered and the sea waters stagnant and squalid. Or are you part of the Syndicate, here to savage the Moonlit Cove? Yes, sacrilegious smugglers and sugar-tooths. They came in their skiffs and turned our sacred shrines into skooma stays. Now the waters stink of their scummy stock. Shaveskins, the lot of them. Should our shrines stay soiled, the sojourners who seek sanctification here will steep in soured skooma. Shazar shudders to surmise what sickness spawns from these suspect waters. It must. Srendar sends me a saint. To sanctify the shoal, you must seek the sacred shrines inside the Moonlit Cove and sip from their source. Swallowing this... Steady, sleek one. The sparkling waters streaming from the shrines are sacred. Their spiritual strength... Srendar Saint... Steady, sleek one. The sparkling waters streaming from the shrines are sacred. Their spiritual strength will safeguard you and allow you to sanctify the shoal once more. Shazar is seldom mistaken. Srendar Saint... To strip the sacred sugar suspended in the shoal's shallows. All the light Joan and Jode shines upon the sea surges into this cove and mixes with the spring water spilling from our shrines and settles on the shoal, ensnaring the moonlight within. Assuredly, it sparkles like strands of sapphires sailing on the tide. Before the cove was spoiled by these scoundrels, soaking in the sweet waters brought Khajiit perfect serenity. Now, the spoiled waters stir on. Shazar has heard screaming and shouting from within the cove. The senseless shrieking of sugar-tooths whipped into hysteria. The skooma these sinners swill stinks of unsavory scum. Surely, though Shazar slogged many days across the scorch to soak here, so the stench may stem from him. Steady.
Your blood will be in the next batch.
stranger. You're sodden to your skivvies. Have you supped on the shrine's waters? You are looking somewhat sallow. Best not to let the sickening skooma seep in too deeply. Step into the shallows, my squeamish savior, and spit all that poison out to sea. Shazar has never seen such a tsunami of spew. Surely it was a sobering experience. But you've spared Moonlit Cove a similar fate. Srendar's salty tears, yes. This sanctuary is safe again. Someone will still need to strong on these smugglers into shoving off, but Moonlit Cove will survive. Take this as Shazar's show of support. May Joan and Jode shower you with succor. Shazar soon hopes to shed his soiled clothes and scrub until he sparkles. Then, back to Senshar for another show. Only there, Shazar hopes to be showered in treasures. Not for some time. The ceremony you perform stirs the sacred source of the shrines and instills the shoal with the same spiritual spotless supply. Their spouts will spray streams of sacramental water to sluice the despoiling skooma out to sea. Shazar did not cross the sweltering scorch only to spin round and slink back to Senshar like a smitten sench. Since you've shored up the situation inside, Shazar suspects the unscrupulous schemers will scatter like skeevers soon enough. Just so. A singer, a tale spinner, and a spinner of tales. Shazar regrets that you see him in this sorry state, but his thespian spirit shone through his sloppy appearance. Or his manner of speaking suggested so.
I knew if my concoction... Ha! They said my concoction wouldn't work in Elsweyr. But Vigwin proves the doubters wrong yet again! A special recipe. Drink it down and you can see and hear beings that exist beyond the spectrum of our pedestrian perceptions. It's really a remarkable experience. You haven't lived until you've heard the song of the elusive sand whales of Elsweyr. The best stuff, I assure you. It contains... Hey, nice try. But no way I'm going to reveal my secret recipe. Unfortunately, I seem to have misplaced my last 3 bottles of ingredients. Must have lost them while I was watching the sand whales. You would find Vigwen's lost ingredient bottles? Oh, thank you, stranger! I promise to make a new batch with those ingredients so that you can experience the joy of the sand whales personally. How refreshing. Most people laugh when I tell them about the snow whales of Skyrim and their cousins in Elsweyr. You can only spot them while under the influence of my special concoction. For a time, you can see them fly by and listen to their song. Oh yes, they are totally imperceptible without my special concoction. Once you do see them in all their wonder and listen to their beautiful song, you'll never look at the world the same way again. I guarantee it. Usually more careful with my special ingredients. But when that first sand whale passed by overhead, I just forgot about everything else. Were you able to find my lost ingredient bottles? Well, look at that. No wonder I misplaced these. That last batch I made must have been particularly potent. I'm sorry, stranger, but I won't be able to make enough for you to see the sand whales. Take this instead, with my thanks. If you ever find yourself in Skyrim, look me up. I promise to save enough of my concoction to share with you next time. At least, I promise to try. I was going to head over to Hammerfell. I hear that, in addition to sand whales, they also have sky mammoths that graze upon the clouds over Sentinel. I really want to see that. Alas, without my special concoction, I won't be able to see a thing. Sure, eventually, but not without my special ingredients. And to get more of those, I need to return to Skyrim. There's a cave I know that descends deep into the earth where... Oh, goodness! I almost did it again. I really need to stop talking now. Bye!
Sorry. I barely saw you there. Can I help you? Wait, where are my manners? Katina Garana, daughter to Consul Urnaria. Former consul, I should say. She passed recently. I'm rambling. Sorry. My head, it's just... I haven't been sleeping well. Honestly, no. Far from it. I find myself plagued by unsettling dreams. Every night since my mother died, my mind returns to this place. I see a man scribbling a letter. I hold my mother's necklace out to him. His eyes turn to me. Then I wake. I don't know. I just can't shake the feeling that my mother has unfinished business in the Citadel. Something to do with her necklace and that man. Perhaps you could take the necklace inside for me? It's the key to this mystery. I know it. I can't tell you how grateful I am for your assistance. A woman in my position can't afford to fall asleep at state dinners. And my mother, she should be resting peacefully in Aetherius, not calling out for help from beyond the grave. It's an Imperial war college called the Topal Legionary Academy. Or it was, at any rate. Now the locals call it the Forsaken Citadel. Some of the Empire's greatest tacticians studied and taught here, my mother among them. The flu, the Nahatan flu, held this region in a vice grip for years, killing Khajiit by the thousands. According to my mother, the Commandant locked the academy gates and refused to let anyone in or out. But walls keep out soldiers, not plagues. Truthfully, no one knows. The gates never reopened, and Mother refused to speak about it. I can tell you this, though. Someone or something still patrols those halls. People say you can hear groans and howls at all hours. The undead, I fear. I can never recall the beginnings, but they always end the same. I'm standing outside the Citadel, just as we are now. Suddenly, I'm inside. I walk down a dank hallway that opens into a larger chamber. Then, I spot him at his writing desk. The man. Wary, troubled, certainly. Consumed by some secret resentment. I approach to get a better look at him. His hand drifts to a stop. Without even thinking about it, I hold out my mother's necklace, urging him to take it, I suppose. No. His eyes flick upward to look at me. Tired, reddening eyes. Much like mine, in fact. We stare at each other for a moment. Then I wake in a cold sweat. I know it sounds simple, but there's an anguish there I can't even begin to describe. I am. Following in my mother's footsteps, I suppose. Or trying, at any rate. As I said before, she served as a consul before she passed, tending to the concerns of Imperial citizens and breaking bread with the Khajiiti counselors in Senchal. She began her career as a legionary, believe it or not. She even taught here for a time. I suppose she just softened with age. Honestly, my mother rarely spoke of the time she spent here. I always got the sense she preferred to leave it in the past. Only at the end, she drifted in and out during her final days. In one of her last lucid moments, she placed the necklace in my hand and whispered, "Forgive." I thought she was asking for my forgiveness. Now I'm not so sure.
I remember these halls. Once proud, now ruined. All because of me. Please, help me make things right. Seek out the library. A letter from my beloved rests upon a writing desk. My atonement begins there.
Who are you? What are you doing here? Have you come to plunder what remains of our academy? It matters little. Whatever indignities you plan to visit upon these halls will pale against the curse I put on them. I am Jano Invel, Imperial Battle Mage and Spellcraft Instructor. And yes, I wrote that letter. What is this about? After 20 years of imprisonment, I won't suffer idle conversation. Speak plainly or leave.
Garana? By the Eight.
Yes. I recognize both the name and the locket. That piece of jewelry was to serve as the focus for a soul warding spell. We meant to use it to keep us safe from the flu. But then Honoria left, taking the necklace with her. I hesitate to hope, but yes. Yes, perhaps it could. After Honoria left with the locket, I attempted to craft new focuses. Totems made of Honoria's treasured objects. All 3 attempts failed. And the result? Well, look around. That locket should guide you to other totems bound to the same spell. You must destroy those corrupted totems. They bind our souls to the failed warding ritual. Once they're destroyed, return to me with the locket. Then I can mend what's broken. You will think less of me for having used it. The ritual binds souls, much like a soul gem. Unlike a soul gem, it also binds flesh. So long as the focus of the ritual remains intact, the bodies and souls of those touched by the spell remain as well. Spells that affect the soul always carry risk. My partner, Honoria, would serve as a potent focus. I gave it to her, you see. It belonged to my mother, and her mother, and so on. It carries emotional potency. The warding ritual relies upon strong bonds, bonds between people. Our fondness for one another, and our shared relationship with the locket made it the perfect focus. But then, she left. Yes, a totem of comparable value. I tried to use items precious she'd abandoned, but none of the items carried the necklace's weight. The bonds proved too weak. Each time I cast the ritual, the curse grew more severe. Not immediately. One by one, they fell to the flu. The spell proved too weak to protect their flesh, but too strong to let it pass. Now their souls and corpses remain, tortured. She had doubts, certainly. We all did. But at a certain point, it seems she lost faith in the ritual completely. I was furious at first. I even called for her to be arrested on charges of desertion. Or would have, had I sent that letter. No great surprise there. That was the longest, most agonizing night of my life. I never sent the letter, though. I didn't have the heart to. The warding spell makes them nearly impossible to break through conventional means. But the presence of the locket will make the spell unstable. Hold the necklace near the totem, and it should collapse into arcane vapor. This is spellcraft, not mathematics. Should is the best a battle mage can offer in terms of assurances.
Jano was so desperate to save these people, and I let him down. I let them all down. That's why I must make this right. Still, Jano doesn't know why I left. Why I had to protect the very thing that was more important than even myself. If only I would have told him.
I could still do this, with or without Honoria. I just need objects she treasured. She polished this sword once a fortnight. It will work. It has to.
He worked so hard, but he forgot a critical point. The item had to bind us together. The two of us. Gods, I am so sorry, Jeno.
I know you always valued your privacy, Honoria. Maybe this will be enough. Your worries, your joys, your secret desires. Another legionary fell ill today. It has to be enough.
My diary wasn't enough. If he had just read it, he would have known why I left. For once, Jano, I wish you would have cried.
Honoria. Miss, did you clutch this as a child? I have to try. Damn you for leaving me, Honoria. Damn you!
I sewed that doll with my own hands. A gift for our child. For Jano's child. He never suspected that I bore his daughter in my womb. Too busy. Always too busy. The ritual. The soul binding. I couldn't risk the life of our child on a spell like that. So I left. Damn my cowardice. I left without saying goodbye. But now, we can make things right.
Do you have any questions before we try this? Thank the Eight you're back. Did you destroy all 3 totems? I pray you did. I already feel the binding ward loosening. If we dispel the magics on the locket, our souls should find peace at last. Drop the locket into the flame. My grip on the Mundus is weak at best, but I managed to conjure this fire while you were away. It should burn away any arcane energies still clinging to the necklace. Once those magics dissipate, Aetherius awaits. She knows what breaking the curse requires. Whatever happens, I trust she's prepared. Place the locket in the flame, my friend. Please.
Thank the Eight, it worked.
Honoria, is it really you?
Katina chooses her allies well. That's my clever girl. Finally, our spirits can rest. Finally. Now, I try to reconcile with the man I betrayed. I will try to contact Katina one last time before we drift to Aetherius. But if I can't, tell her I love her. More than anything. I'm sorry I caused her such distress. Tell her the truth. Her father wanted to save everyone despite the risks. I wanted to keep her safe. Jano and I both made mistakes. Pride and stubbornness, cowardice and heartache. But now, we can make things right. We can find peace. Flesh always proves sluggish and stubborn. These corpses may wander these halls for a while longer, but I assure you, their souls are free of the curse and will find their way to Aetherius very soon. I'm sorry I left you when you needed me, my love. It was cowardly. But there's something I must tell you. The reason I fled.
What possible reason could you have? We could have saved these people at Noria. Why? Why did you leave me?
Come with me, Jano. Let me show you before we fade away.
Thank the Eight. You're back. What did you discover? Is my mother's soul at rest? What a relief. On both counts. Did you discover the cause of her distress? What troubled her? And that spell became a curse. The curse that's afflicted the Academy these 20 years. Of course. But I don't understand. Why would Mother leave this man in his hour of need? The woman I knew would never abandon a friend. My father? But how? I'll need some time to process all this. I can't believe she bore the weight of this all these years. In any event, thank you for helping her. I hope the two of them find a way to reconcile in Aetherius. Her and my father. I should really get some sleep, but with all that's happened, I don't know how I could manage it. Secrets from my mother's past, a father I never knew. It's a lot to take in. In any event, thank you so much for all your efforts. Aet bless you.
Honoria. Who is this?
This is your daughter, Janna. Katina. This is why I left. The ritual posed too high a risk for an unborn child. I tried to tell you so many times, but you were so busy and I was a coward.
Katina. I had no idea. She has your eyes, Honoria.
And your stubbornness, my love. Which is why I knew she would find a way to help us. I should have told you. I'm so sorry.
Thank you. Thank you for showing her to me. I only wish I had more time.
You're the darling who saved Rose and Vaughn, aren't you? Quite the hero.
I think I'll rest here a moment before I head back to Central. It's the first rest I've had in weeks. It really is something, isn't it? The Citadel. You don't see grand imperial edifices like this outside of Cyrodiil very often. Perhaps we can reclaim it. If we manage to rid it of undead, we might rebuild, learn its history. That would make my parents proud. I know it.